Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Kate. I've always been a lover of books and YouTube. I'm studying mass media TV production and I always thought, why not combine the two and start making videos combining my two loves. My channel name comes from Kat, being short for my full name Catherine, and the fact that I personally prefer dogs and have my own. The first book we'll be talking about today is Party of Two by Jasmine Gullliroy. This has been on my Goodreads to be read for a while now, which you can find linked in my description. Overall, I found the book to be just okay. A great vacation read as I read it on winter break in one easy day. Personally, I tend to prefer lighter books like this as I find reading a form of escapism and especially romance novels. Now, when I started recording and scripting this video, I realized I didn't even give a description of this book. So let me get into the description first before I go into my general thoughts, which you can kind of tell I start to give a brushed description a little bit. So the official description of this book, from the back of it, I rented the paperback from the library, which when you see my notes and I'm seeing quotes, that's why it's not annotated. Dating is the last thing on Olivia Monroe's mind when she moves to LA to start her own law firm. But when she meets a gorgeous man at a hotel bar and they spend the entire night flirting, she discovers too late that he is none other than hotshot junior Senator Max Powell. Olivia has zero interest in dating a politician, but when a cake arrives at her office with the cutest message, she can't resist. It is chocolate cake after all. Olivia is surprised to find that Max is sweet, funny, and noble, not just some privileged white politician she assumed him to be. Because of Max's high-profile job, they start seeing each other secretly, which leads to clandestine dates and silly disguises. When they finally go public, the intense media scrutiny means people are now digging up her rocky past and criticizing her job and even her suitability as a trophy girlfriend. Olivia knows what she has with Max is something special, but is it strong enough to survive the heat of the spotlight? And that's their official description. Personally, my description is Olivia, a lawyer new to LA, bumps into someone who she does not realize is an LA senator. They have a whirlwind romance and quickly fall in love when neither of the two were expecting it. Now, dealing with a political climate and a lawyer-based climate, how will their love survive? Now, I'm going to start this going over some of my general thoughts and notes I took from the book. There are going to be spoilers in this review. I'm not going to super spoil it, but just some of the big plot twists make it a little spoiled. Personally, I feel like the characters didn't have any real depth. At first, I didn't mind, considering this is really just an easy read for me, but it started to get annoying as I read more and more and more. I think there was potential for something deeper, which also goes into, when I mentioned spoilers, about halfway to a third of the book to halfway in, one of the main characters, Olivia, who is a lawyer, says that she went to jail. This is important because the story is Olivia is starting her new law firm in LA, and she meets and falls in love with a California senator. The California senator is running on a platform, especially of criminal reform. So as he is discussing one day an issue he has where his bills aren't really going to go anywhere, she decides to tell him she went to jail as a teen, kind of sharing that connection where he sees that he wants to change that. And she said, yes, I was affected by that. Personally, I wanted to read more about this. How did it affect your career choices? Olivia kind of skims over it saying, it got cleaned off my record. It was okay. It was a mistake in high school that I made. Or she was really arrested, didn't fully go to jail. But I wanted to know how that really impacted her career choices, because she's a lawyer now. She's obviously dating someone with that. It felt like it was convenient for both characters because their major fight they have becomes he shares that to a crowd and tries to get her to talk, and she is mad at him. In my opinion, rightfully so. But she becomes more mad at him just for trying to get her to speak to a crowd, not to talk on the issue. And I really would have wished they would have dived into that, because it wasn't fair for him to share that personal anecdote of hers. But she's just mad that he made her talk, and then she breaks up with him. And it all just seemed like then they get right back together. And then the book ends and they're married. And it's just like, okay, or they're engaged. And, I wish that there was a little something deeper, especially having known that. I love romance. It's really just this hot guy is whipped for this girl and she's just very not like other girls. She's sarcastic and all of his point of views, how sarcastic she is and how different she is. And it just got really, really old. And of course, it's sweet reading how whipped he is for her, but it's just like, it just got so annoying at some point. Like I said, the conflict was interesting, but it could have been resolved better because he basically says, okay, I won't mention you unless you want to. And because she's a lawyer, he writes up this contract of how they're going to act. And that was also weird too. It was just like, okay, so now you're literally contractually obliged to how you're going to interact with each other. Like, what? Because ending was bad. Pacing was so fast. The book would just be, okay, it's another month, and they went on 3 dates, and then it's another month, and then it's another month, and then it's another month. A note I took was halfway through the book, the relationship was still secret, which it says on the back of the book in the description that paparazzi become an issue. And it's like, so I knew halfway through that book that there was going to be a rushed fight and a rushed resolution. Also, a huge plot point is people do not care who a senator is dating, in my opinion, of pop culture and my love for pop culture. Like, it was on the back of the book. I thought it was going to be a bigger deal. He made such a huge deal about not being seen with her. And it really was one news story, and then it blew over in the media. Like, why was this posed as such a big deal? And honestly, I'm getting really critical of this book. Like, I picked it up. I thought it was cute. It was on my TB Read, my TBR. And I really shouldn't be getting too deep about it because it really was just a silly little book. Personally, I didn't realize this when I picked up the book because it isn't listed like on the cover. But it's actually kind of like the fifth in a series, where a lot of romance novels, it's almost like a multiverse where all the characters kind of get their own book eventually. So I believe that if I had known that and read the other books, since considering this was 5, then it would have made a little bit more sense to me because this was my first book by her. People on Goodreads really seem to love it and her writing, so I definitely want to give her a better shot, knowing that this was the 5th and I picked it up. Also knowing that, I didn't feel like I missed anything. I truly had no idea until I was reading other people's Goodreads reviews after I had finished the book. So that's also good because sometimes I feel like those books, I've made this mistake before, and I am missing out on important features because I've picked up on the second one accidentally. If you're looking for spice, this book would be about half a chili pepper to a chili pepper. There were some moments, but it seemed always more as like an illusion, and then it all kind of just happened behind closed doors. So it wasn't too spicy, which honestly I really enjoyed because lately I've been reading a little bit of spicier books, and as a positive to this book, it was just such an easy read. And, the romance was believable. I believed they were in love. And while I would have wanted just a little bit more, it really felt fine for the book. And